Part 1, Night Shift Beginnings and the First Odd Encounter. Hey Reddit, I'm a long-time lurker but first-time poster with a story that's been messing with my head for weeks. I work the night shift at a gas station, you know, the kind of place that's basically a 24/7 magnet for weirdos, late-night travelers, and the occasional lost soul. Usually, my shifts are boring or mildly annoying. You get used to weird requests for ketchup packets at 3 a.m., but something about this one customer is seriously creeping me out, and I need to get this off my chest. So, here's how it started. I work at this gas station just off a fairly empty highway. Nothing fancy, just the basics: pumps, snacks, an old coffee machine that's always on its last legs, and me behind the counter, watching the clock crawl from midnight to 6 a.m. Most nights I just zone out to podcasts or try to sneak a nap when no one's around, but this night, something felt off. It was around 2:15 a.m. when he showed up. I'd barely had any customers for hours, and then the automatic door swung open with that annoying jingle that echoes like a doorbell in an empty house. In walks this guy. Middle-aged, wearing a dark hoodie pulled low over his face, and a backpack that looked way too heavy for a quick fill-up. He moved slow, deliberate, the kind of slow that makes you pay attention, because it feels like they're doing something they shouldn't. I didn't get a good look at his face at first, but his eyes caught mine briefly. They were weirdly intense, like he was studying me or trying to memorize something. Then he just walked to the soda fridge without saying a word. I stayed behind the counter, watching him out of the corner of my eye while pretending to stock the candy aisle. He grabbed a bottle of water and then stopped. Just stood there, staring at the shelf, his head tilted like he was trying to solve a puzzle. At first, I thought maybe he was trying to decide what else to get. But then he reached behind some chips and pulled out a small, worn-out notebook. That's when I got curious. It was the kind of notebook you'd use to jot down secrets or creepy observations. And honestly, who carries that around at 2 a.m. in a gas station? I wanted to say something, but I figured maybe he was just some artist or writer. People are weird, right? He finally came to the counter and placed the water and the notebook down in front of me. "Can I get some change for this?" he asked in a low voice that felt like a whisper even though we were the only two people in the store. I blinked. "Change? Like money?" He nodded, barely looking at me. Then he slid the notebook towards me. "You'll want to see inside first." "Just a sec." Hesitant, I opened the notebook. Inside were pages covered in strange scribbles, sketches, and what looked like coded writing, a mix of symbols and letters that made no sense to me. There were also some crude drawings of the gas station itself, but with odd marks on the pumps and store layout, like a map with hidden paths. I looked up at him. "What is this?" He shrugged. "Something you don't want to mess with. But you'll want to keep it safe. There's a reason I'm asking for change, but not for me." I laughed nervously. "Okay, but how do I know this isn't some kind of prank?" He didn't answer. Instead, he pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket and slid it across the counter. "If you're smart, you'll check this out. And watch the cameras." I unfolded the paper carefully. It was a crude drawing of the gas station, but with one pump circled in red, the one furthest from the store, the one that barely gets used. And below the drawing, a warning: don't trust the man who comes after midnight. My heart skipped. "What man?" He leaned closer, voice barely above a whisper. "You'll see. Just keep the notebook and watch closely. They come for it. And they don't like witnesses." Before I could ask more, he grabbed his water and shuffled out the door, disappearing into the night like a ghost. I stood there, notebook in hand, staring at the pumps out the window. The lot was empty, but a cold shiver ran down my spine. Then, as if on cue, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "It's already started." I know, sounds crazy, right? But I promise, I'm not making this up. The weirdest part? I'm only halfway through the first night of this nightmare. I've got the notebook, the drawing, and some very real fear that I'm caught in something way bigger than me. Tomorrow night, I'm going to keep the cameras on and maybe try to sneak a look around that circled pump. I don't know what's coming, but whatever it is, it's real. Anyway, I'll update as soon as I can. Thanks for reading so far, Reddit. If anyone has any experience with weird stuff at gas stations at night, I'm all ears. Part 2/3, 15,000 characters. Hey Reddit. I'm back. First off, thank you. I didn't expect so many of you to read or comment on my first post. I figured maybe a few night shift workers would relate, or someone would suggest I lay off the caffeine. But holy hell. Some of you had legit advice, and some of you scared me more than the actual thing I saw. I promised an update, and I've got one. It's taken me a couple nights to write this because, honestly, I needed time to process. To sleep, not that I did. To stop shaking. Let's pick up where I left off. I stayed for an extra hour after my shift that morning to review the security footage. The guy in the hoodie? The one who handed me the notebook? He wasn't on the tapes. I watched myself talking, but to no one. Literally, I was just standing there, gesturing at air. It looked insane. I called our store manager and asked if we'd had any camera glitches lately. He just laughed and said, "Glitches? You mean like ghosts? Nah, you're just tired, man." Cool. Thanks, Dave. Super helpful. I couldn't let it go. That notebook the guy gave me, I hadn't looked at it since that night. I opened it up again in the break room. At first, it looked the same, weird scribbles, nonsense words, and a disturbing sketch of that faceless creature crouched by the gas pump. But one page stood out. It was blank the last time I saw it. Now, it had writing. And I swear on my life, it was in my handwriting. Don't trust the mirror. I dropped the book. Literally dropped it on the floor and just stared. We don't even have mirrors in the main store, except one in the employee restroom. I made a mental note to check it later, and started my next shift like usual. Coffee. Inventory. Half-broken radio playing soft rock no one asked for. Midnight rolled around. Nothing unusual. A few truckers, one high school kid buying taquitos and an energy drink. Then, 12:41 a.m., the bell dinged. Someone walked in. It was him. Same hoodie. Soaking wet, even though it wasn't raining. Standing completely still at the threshold of the door. He didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stared. This time, I didn't speak first. He raised his arm and pointed toward the back. Toward the employee bathroom. The one with the mirror. My spine turned to ice. Why? I asked, my voice cracking. He didn't answer. Just kept pointing. His hand was shaking like it took all his energy to hold it up. And then, without a sound, he turned and walked back outside. I rushed to the bathroom. Heart hammering. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't what I found. The mirror was gone. Like, physically gone. Torn off the wall. The screws were still in place, but the mirror itself? Missing. In its place, written on the wall in some kind of black soot or ash, was a message. He comes through reflections. I backed out of there so fast I nearly slipped. Grabbed the notebook, flipped to the latest page, another message, written freshly. You looked too long. Now he's looking back. That was 2 nights ago. Last night, I came armed. Flashlight. GoPro clipped to my vest. Knife in my boot, don't judge me, I panicked. I parked in front of Pump 6 before my shift and left my phone recording on the dash. From 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., nothing. Just me, nervously refilling shelves and glancing at the windows every few seconds. Then, at 1:13 a.m., all the lights flickered. Not just inside, outside too. Street lights. The neon sign. Everything stuttered like the power grid hiccuped. The monitor behind the counter, the one connected to the outdoor cameras, blinked to static. And then, through the static, something came through. Not clearly. But shapes. Movement. That same long-limbed, jittery creature from the first night, crouching behind pump 6. Only now, there were 2 of them. I swear I almost passed out. They moved like corrupted GIFs. Limbs bending too far, heads twitching at impossible angles. Every few seconds, their forms would blur, then sharpen again, always a little closer. I pulled out my phone and tried to film the monitor. Useless. My camera wouldn't focus, and the screen glitched like I was trying to capture a hologram. Then I heard the bell. Ding. Customer at the door. Only the door didn't open. The sound just played. Again. Ding. Again. Ding. By the 5th time, I realized it wasn't the bell. It was my phone. Playing the bell sound. Looping it. And I hadn't touched it. I ripped the battery out. Just killed it dead. That's when I noticed something was off with the window glass. It wasn't reflecting properly. Like it had depth. I stepped closer, slowly. My own reflection looked wrong. Delayed. Almost like it had to think before moving. When I waved my hand, the reflection hesitated, then copied me. And then it didn't stop. My hand dropped. The reflection's hand kept waving. Slowly. Like it was mocking me. I ran to the bathroom. Still no mirror. But the wall where the message was written? Now smeared. Like something had wiped across it. Below the smear, a fresh line had appeared. You brought him here. It's not just the gas station anymore. I clocked out early. I don't care if I lose the job. I drove straight to my apartment and covered every reflective surface with a towel or a shirt. Windows, screens, everything. Then I checked the dashcam footage. The guy in the hoodie? Never showed. But at exactly 1:13 a.m., the lens distorts. Just for a second. And there's a frame, a single frame, where something is pressed against the glass from the inside of my car. Not a face. Just a void. I haven't slept since. There's one more shift this week. Friday night. I know I shouldn't go back. But I think I have to. I think whatever this is, it started with me. And now it's spreading. If I post again, it'll be after that. If I don't look into mirrors after midnight. Seriously. Don't. Part 3/3, 15,000 characters. Okay Reddit. Last update. I promise. I wasn't sure if I'd ever be writing this. I almost didn't. Not because I don't want to, but because part of me still thinks if I write it down, it makes it more real. But it's already real. Too real. So here it is. Friday night. The final shift. The night I stopped pretending this was just about a gas station. I arrived around 10:30 p.m. An hour early. I don't even know why. Maybe I thought I could prep for it somehow. Maybe I thought showing up before he did would help. Spoiler, it didn't. The air felt charged. Like before a lightning storm. The parking lot was empty. No wind, no bugs, just that heavy, waiting kind of silence. I brought salt. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But some of you in the comments mentioned protective circles, folklore, all that stuff. At this point, I'd try anything short of holy water and a priest, and maybe I should have tried those too. I poured a ring of salt around the main counter. Made a smaller one around the register. Kept the notebook beside me, duct-taped my GoPro to the ceiling facing the entrance, and kept my back to the wall. At 12:57 a.m., the lights went out. Just gone. No flicker this time. No warning. Complete blackness. Except for the monitors. All 4 screens, the ones linked to the outdoor security cameras, turned on. Full static. But behind the static, you could hear something. Not words. Just breathing. Wet, strained, ragged. Then the static cleared for exactly 2 seconds. Pump 6. Again. Something standing there. But this time it wasn't crouched. It was upright. Tall. Too tall. Shoulders hunched, limbs impossibly long. No face, just that same stretched void where a head should have been. And this time, it was looking right into the camera. I blinked, and it was gone. Then came the smell. Like burning wires and rotting leaves. I gagged. It filled the store, thick and clinging, like it came from inside the vents. I looked down at the notebook. A fresh line had appeared. It knows your name now. I didn't write that. I hadn't opened it in an hour. I slammed it shut. Checked the GoPro. Still recording. Then the front door creaked open. Not the ding. No bell sound this time. Just that slow, dragging sound of metal scraping glass. It didn't swing open, it just widened, like something pushed it open without touching it. Cold air poured in. Too cold for August. My breath fogged in front of me. And in the glass of the door, now cracked slightly from pressure, I saw my reflection. Except it wasn't me. It was me, same clothes, same hair, same panicked expression, but the eyes were gone. Replaced with swirling, smoky pits. The mouth was moving but not matching my words. And behind that version of me, in the reflection, I saw the creature. Standing just behind my shoulder. I spun around. Nothing there. But the mirror image? Still there, in the glass. Still moving. Still mimicking. Only now, it was smiling. I heard a tap. From the back room. Tap. 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 Like fingers drumming on metal. I didn't want to go back there. Every instinct told me not to. But I did. The break room was empty. The fridge hummed. The emergency light flickered. I almost relaxed. Then I turned toward the employee bathroom door. It was open just a crack. I hadn't opened it. I know I didn't. The mirror was back. But it wasn't my mirror. This one was different. Older. Cracked down the center. The frame was scorched black like it had been in a fire. And in the reflection, the room was wrong. No shelves. No light. Just blackness. And something moving in it. I took one step forward, and the door slammed shut. I screamed. Legit screamed. Ran back to the front counter and jumped inside the salt ring like it was lava. My hands were shaking so bad I couldn't even hold my phone. And then, everything went silent. No humming from the fridge. No wind. Even the monitors cut to black. A single line of text appeared on the monitor facing me. "You are the door." I lost it. I yelled, "What do you want?" like that would help. My voice echoed. Echoed wrong. Like it bounced through other rooms that didn't exist. Then the creature appeared again. Right outside the glass. Staring in. But it wasn't trying to get inside. It was watching. Waiting. Its body twitched in small, unnatural spasms. And beside it, appearing one by one, were more figures. Human shapes, but wrong. Stretched, blurred. Like bad renderings in a broken video game. And behind them, darkness. Just endless dark, rolling toward the station like a fog bank. I backed into the corner, whispering every prayer I could remember from childhood. I was shaking so hard I thought I'd pass out. Then the notebook opened on its own. Pages flipped wildly, then stopped. Final message. You have one chance. Break the glass. End the reflection. I knew what it meant. I grabbed the GoPro, still recording, and hurled it into the front door. Glass exploded. Cold air rushed in. A scream, not mine, filled the space. High-pitched, distorted, like a cassette tape melting. The reflections vanished. The figures. The fog. Everything. Gone. And then. The lights came back. The fridge buzzed. The radio started playing again like nothing happened. I was standing alone in a destroyed gas station with broken glass at my feet, and a notebook burning in my hands. Literally burning. Pages curling into ash. No fire. Just heat. I dropped it. Watched it turn to dust. That was a week ago. I quit the next morning. Dave didn't even ask questions, just nodded, handed me my final check, and said, "Good call. The station is closed now." Temporarily, they said. Repairs. But I saw the boards go up. They're sealing it off. As for me? I've moved. Changed my number. New apartment. Every reflective surface covered. But sometimes, late at night, my phone turns on by itself. And when it does, I hear a ding. Just once. Then silence. Thanks for reading. I don't know if any of this makes sense outside my head. I don't know if I stopped it. Maybe I just delayed it. But if you work night shift, and you see something at pump 6, don't look at your reflection. Not even for a second. And if someone gives you a notebook, don't open it. Burn it. Before it writes you.